Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at the Stunfisk in the current Great League Remix Cup. This Pokemon is actually really cool because the most common core right now is going to be like something like a Skarmory plus something like a Carbink, and both those Pokemon are going to be fairly weak against this Pokemon here. Plus also Poliwrath does not really enjoy the discharge damage plus also the fast move of the Thundershock. So we're going to pair it here together with our double, which is going to run the move Wild Charge, which I always like to run. If you know my team building, you know that I like to have something like the like an electric type in the lead, and then you have something as a Say Swap that has a coverage move of the same type as you have in the lead, because you basically always get out the Pokemon with your Say Swap that is going to be weak against your lead. So that's kind of why I like this kind of one. That's why I like to run also the Wild Charge variant of Double over the Vigoroth. You can still run the Vigoroth if you want to be a little bit less interesting, basically. But yeah, this is going to be a very cool team. I went 8-2 with this team, and you're going to see every single battle that I did with this one, so definitely stay tuned for this one as well. If you enjoy this kind of videos, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't, would really appreciate it, as you can now take a look here at the matchup against the Clodsire. We're going to run, by the way, the move Thundershock, going to make you a little bit better against Poliwrath, as well as the Skarmory, which I feel like is the better play to go for. But there's nothing wrong of going for Mudshot. Mudshot would help you out against this matchup here as well, but let's take a look at this first battle already, and we can see already the greatness of the Stunfisk. Stunfisk going to be able to knock out this Mantine here as well as the opponent. Maybe actually can still go for an Ice Beam, knock me out, but that doesn't really matter. Like, we got them so low that our own Mantine will be able to clean up this game very easily. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We have a horrible lead for us. We're going to swap out immediately. We're going to have the Venusaur against us, and we're going to swap into our double to go straight for the Body Slam. Body Slam coming through, we're going to get half of the opponent's health, and I decide to use a shield here as the opponent's Frenzy Plant is just so hard hitting that I don't really want to get hit by it. And as you can see, I can still go for another charge move, but the opponent swaps out in time into a Magnezone, catching the move. Great play by them, because this is going to be resisted, and now I'm forced to go for another charge move here, which is also going to be resisted. They let this move go through as well, which is going to be a little bit annoying, and I'm forced to let this move go through because I don't want to go 2 shields down here. They get the defense drop, but I get some extra energy with my Stunfisk, which is kind of nice. I swap out immediately because the opponent should be locked into this Venusaur now, and I decide to let this move go through, which was crucial, which we're going to see here now as well, as the opponent is going to have in the back the Magneton, and this is going to be amazing for me because now it's going to be the Stunfisk against the Magneton, and Stunfisk resist every single move of the opponent. Also, they're running Thundershock, which I don't know if I would agree with this. I would go for the Volt Switch still. Yes, Thundershock is going to be a little bit faster and a little bit less clunky, but Volt Switch is just doing so much more chip damage that I would at least go for it. But yeah, don't know what you would go for. I would definitely go for the Volt Switch here, but maybe they don't know that Volt Switch is available or whatever. But Double Magnet is definitely a cool team as well, but it does not work out against a Stunfisk, as Stunfisk is one of the biggest answers to those Magnet boys, as I can even go for the Discharge here to troll a little bit. I can finish up this game with one more Mud Bomb, and this is going to be a very easy victory. Next opponent, let's see what they're going to have here. We're going to have the Empoleon in the lead. Kinda neutral. I definitely kinda want to stay in for a little bit here at least, as the opponent stops out into their Torterra, showcasing the madness that is going to unfold here. We're going to have the Grassol team most likely. If they're going to run something like the Torterra as a Say Swap, it's fairly likely that they're going to have another grass move there, like some Razor Leaf on the back, most likely something like a Victory Bell. So let's see what we're going to actually encounter here. It would be a little bit tricky for us if they have a Victory Bell, because what is our Pokemon going to do against it? It's going to be a little bit tricky. I could shield this move up, but I decide to not do this because, yeah, maybe like they don't have Victory Bell in the back, but no, they do. And so I'm forced to go for some Body Slam action here with my Dubwool. And as we're going to see as well, we are at half health and we are not close to getting to 3 moves yet. So I'm forced to use a shield here, which I don't even actually mind that they go for the shield here, but they actually go for the Leaf Tornado. I'm lucky that I don't get debuffed here. Usually always get debuffed, but this is going to be great for us. So we can now swap out into our Stunfisk, but Stunfisk is going to be fairly low already. It gets insane damage from the Razor Leaf, but we at least have a ton of energy stored, allowing us to get to 2 Mud Bombs, knocking them out. And can we still reach a move here? We can. And the Stunfisk is the MVP here, being able to knock out the opponent and get wrecked with the toxic team there. Next opponent, Skeldurge in the lead. This is going to be a fairly decent matchup for us. They most likely going to swap out eventually, and they do here into the Dubwool. I decided to go for the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb is going to be a little bit more energy efficient compared to the Discharge. And so we're going to be able to do some nice damage here, and I can swap out into my own Dubwool. Could decide to go for a Wild Charge here, but I'm gonna go ahead and go for the Body Slam spam against them. I am seemingly winning CMP. As you can see on the right side, I have a little bit of attack investment as well onto my double, which of course helps with those scenarios. Definitely, I have to say, if I would rebuild all my Pokemon that I built so far, I definitely would not choose the IV spread out of a lot of them based on basically like how I play or whatever, because a little bit of an attack investment is usually really good for Pokemon that you encounter quite often. So something like a Medicham I think has like some kind of weird IV spread with like 7 attack, which is just better than the 5, 15, 15, like stuff like this is just very important. And yeah, I wish I would have the knowledge that I have nowadays, but I still sometimes go just for the best IV spread possible. But a lot of times having a little bit of an attack investment is actually really decent just to win CMP ties. Here, we're going to be able to still knock out the opponent's Skeledirge as we were able to survive with like 1 HP after the Shadow Ball. And we're going to see in the back the Poliwrath, which our team is really prepared for. We have literally coverage on every single Pokemon for the Poliwrath, which is amazing for us as we can go for the Aerial Ace. The opponent is going to get hit by it. There is not a lot that they can do about it, and we will be able to easily win this game here as the opponent gonna get farmed down. So this is going to be it for this one. Next opponent coming up, we're going to encounter here the Primeape in the lead. This is going to be okay for us. We can just go for a Mud Bomb, I would imagine. But let's see what the opponent gonna go for themselves. They're going to actually run the Ice Punch here, so we know the moves that they're definitely going to have the Night Slash. Night Slash, Ice Punch is going to be an interesting one. Can't wait for the Annihilate coming into the game, by the way. Evolution of the Primeape is going to be one of the best core breakers for the Great League meta and the Ultra League meta and the Mars League meta, just maybe. But definitely one of the coolest Pokemon. It's leaked that it's going to be available most likely next month, so definitely going to be a cool one for that. Actually, maybe even this month. There was like this one event about like the Go Battle League, which was like something with like Raging in it, and it's very likely that it's going to be around the Annihilate, because like this Pokemon would learn the move like Raging Fist, I think, or something like this, or Rage Fist, I think. So like it would be very, very fitting for the event itself to be the one that reveals Annihilate. So yeah, we have to see how that's going to be, but it's going to be definitely an interesting one there. But here we're going to be able to get the knockout at first. We're going to see the Primeape coming back in. I have actually all the Primates, or like the evolution, the pre-evolution for it, prepared for the Annihilate whenever this Pokemon comes into Pokemon Go. Hopefully not through like raids or Go Battle League reward, that would be a little bit awkward, but definitely cool Pokemon nonetheless. Here we're going to see that we can still go for an Aerial Ace against the opponent's Mantine. This is gonna be very decent, as we can now let this next move go through, I thought. But no, I actually decided to use a shield here. It's going to be the Ice Beam, so it's a great play by me, because Ice Beam does a little bit more damage. Not too sure if it's going to be more damage per energy. I doubt it would be. But we can just go for the Aerial Ace spam, and I can even swap out now into my Stunfisk, going for the full farm down. And this is going to be a knockout good game there. Let's take a look at the next opponent, Tomahawk UK, a very well-known player. I think they actually won a regional before, or got like second place or whatever, but definitely a very, very solid player as well. We're going to see here that we had a decent lead. We're going to have also a decent save swap with a Gligar, but Gligar actually can realign here if you don't run Bubble Beam, I think, and bait with this on the Mantine. So, as you can see here, Shadow Gligar does do a ton of damage with the Aerial Ace, and I don't really want to go into a scenario where I'm going to be forced to use a shield, and I make a huge mistake here. Show just went straight for my charge move. I don't know why I didn't do this, but here I wanted to overfarm a little bit so the opponent gets as far, but they actually got up to another Aerial Ace, and so my Ice Beam actually gonna get the knockout, which is cool. I can still realign, but it is not going to be the greatest matchup in total, because you're going to see what they're going to have in the back now. They're going to use a shield here, actually. I can let this move go through, because I expect that my double is going to be very nice for the back, but let's see what it's going to be. We can go still for a charge move here, actually. This charge going to be debuffed, not going to get the knockout, sadly, and they can get the knockout against me if they wanted to, but it's going to be the Cresselia, and this game would be over if we would have payback. Like, this game would be over at this point. But we don't have payback, and I should have mostly used a shield here on the first move already, but I didn't, and I played maybe a little bit too risky for my own good. Because what I decided to do here now is I decided to go for the Wild Charge, and I'm actually not too familiar if a Wild Charge is more damage per energy, so I decided to take a look at this one real quick on the side while we're commentating here if a Wild Charge is actually the play for the double here. But yeah, I did go for it. Definitely gonna get the defense, defense stop there basically the entire time, which is a little bit annoying. But yes, Wild Charge is actually more damage per energy against the Cresselia, but only slightly, like basically 0.97 damage per energy. It was 0.91 damage per energy, but good game there. Sadly lost it very barely. Great lead here for the next game, and also great save swap for us. We're going to see the Poliwrath swapping in, but what I can do now is I can go for a Discharge. The opponent sadly lets this move go through. I would have loved them to use a shield here because it would have been even still a great matchup for us with a Mantine, but they decide not to, and so I'm forced to use a charge move against the opponent with my Mantine here to knock them out, and this is going to be okay for us because we can still go for some Ice Beams against the Skarmory. We can still realign, which is even more important, as against Skarmory is going to get everything resisted from our lead, which is going to be great. And so, yeah, this is going to be something where the opponent has to throw. It's most likely going to be a Sky Attack as they can farm me down afterwards. But they still have to take an Ice Beam, which is going to put them kind of into range as well for maybe later our double, which is going to be great. So we're in a decent spot. We're going to see here that they're going to have a Wish Kiss in the back, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one. As we see here, the opponent going to go for a charge move. It's going to be the Scald, and they get immediately the attack drop, and this is going to be very tricky for us. We can still go for a Body Slam. They are gonna still let this move go through. They could have actually decided to even go for more Scalds, but I decided to even risk it a little bit more for the biscuit here, and decided to let this next move go through as well. It was not a Scald, it was just a Mud Bomb, and so we easily survived this. Scald would have put us into farm down range, but like this, we can still even reach another Body Slam. And I just going to trust my precious, Stunfisk there. I'm going to just be able to go ahead, I'll let this move go through, I can go into my Stunfisk, and I will get to another Mud Bomb, and so they're forced to use a shield here, as it's going to be their best answer. But I would expect that they try to catch the next charge move here because they are forced to go for basically a few charge moves still because of all my shields. And it did not work out for them. They decided to go into their Skarmory. They go for the Brave Bird. I decided to go for the Mud Bomb now because this kind of guarantees me that they don't get to another charge move, which would be a little bit difficult for me to deal with. And so I can just knock them out with my Stunfisk, and Stunfisk again proves that it's a very strong pick for this meta. Next opponent, Nidoqueen lead. This is okay. It is not great though, but it is okay. Like if you had Mud Bomb, it would be, or like Mud Shot, I wanted to say, would be most likely a little bit easier for you, but we can still go for the Mud Bomb here. And we can see it might even be a 2-shot, but I decided to swap out into my double. They go for the Poison Fang, that's totally okay for me. I try to go for my Body Slam. It does not work out, but it's fine. The next Poison Fang is coming through, and we're gonna get out the opponent's Mandibuzz, and so we can finally use also the Wild Charge to its fullest effect. Going to be super effective, and this is exactly what I mean. A lot of times people just swap out into the Pokemon that they don't want to face with the Elite, and especially in the meta where Poliwrath is everywhere, I feel like having a Wild Charge on your double is a very worthy move to have. Here we can just go for the full farm down. I don't have to shield up a Foul Play. Foul Play does basically no damage to me. We still have the same bulk as the Galarian Stunfisk, by the way. They have the exact same stats, so it's a very, very solid pick. Very good bulk, very good Pokemon in general, as we will face in the back here the opponent's Guzzlord, which does make a lot of sense in terms of the team building. Very weak to ice moves though. We have the Ice Beam here, but we're still going to decide to go for the Aerial Ace, playing it safe, getting the shield. They go into the Nidoqueen. I can go for another Aerial Ace, and I can even let this next move go through most likely, as they're gonna go for the Poison Fang here. Just barely getting there, which is a little bit annoying because now it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one for us, as well as the Guzzlord. It's going to chunk quite a bit more with the fast move. I can still go for the Aerial Ace against them, which is going to hopefully get the shield from the opponent, but I'm forced to swap out afterwards into my Galarian Stunfisk. It's going to be still a close one. Mud Bomb is coming through here. A lot of charge moves with this team, a very, very spammy team. Like, honestly, every single Pokemon here is a very, very spammy with their charge moves. So, like, games take a little bit longer than you might think. But also, again, the bulk is just amazing of the Stunfisk. Being able to survive this one was just great. We can still win this game. And we can move on to the next one. Next opponent coming through. Let's see what they're going to have here. Decent lead for us. Carbink in the lead is exactly where we want to face it, but now we're going to face a little bit of an issue, which is going to be the Frosters. Frosters is going to be a Pokemon where we just don't really have an answer for. Like, we have a lot of Pokemon that can be a little bit neutral for it, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's a little bit tricky. We're going to go ahead and go for the Aerial Ace, trying to get them low enough that we can farm down, but sadly, they can still go for a charge move, so I'm forced to use a shield against the opponent as well. I can go for the full farm down, but we know already Carbink is coming out. Carbink is going to have a great time against those Ice Beams. Does like maybe, what, 10%? Nothing really crazy. And so we had a shield down. We at least have alignment, which is kind of important. They're going to have a Jarlston in the back, which is kind of nice. But it's still not over, and I am going to try to at least go ahead and go for the bait here but let's see if this is going to work. I'm actually going to go for the Body Slam against Jellicent, which is Madman behavior here, but I kind of want to get rid of some energy as well before I get debuffed, because like this, before the debuff, I can actually take another Surf, and so now I can just go for the Wild Charge spam, which is going to be great for me as the opponent uses a shield. I can use a shield as well here, but they are going to decide to swap out very soon, and they decide to do it immediately here, and so I can swap out into my own Pokemon, which is going to be very good for me as I can just go for the Mud Bob. I need another one afterwards, but I feel like my opponent should realize very soon that this game is going to be over for them, and so they decide to forfeit this one. Final game, if you remembered correctly, you most likely know how this is going to go, but let's see here. We're going to have the Dragonair in the lead, which is going to be a little bit of a trickier one for us for sure, as our fast move is going to be resisted. And you could actually argue of staying in and go for one Mud Bomb before swapping out, which I would say is actually the better play. Yes, your fast move is resisted. Yes, I'm going to do some damage for you, but you need some team effort to beat those Dragonairs. Like, if you don't have the team effort, it's going to be a little bit of a trickier one. Here we're going to have the Gligar against us, where we can just go for the Body Slam spam again. It's going to be okay for us to get this Pokemon out of here. I can still align my Mantine later on, which is totally okay. They go for the Dig. I let this move go through, and I don't want to go 2 shields down, of course. But I can swap out into my Mantine, which is going to absorb the Aerial Ace from the opponent. I can go for my own one. Let's see if they use a shield or not. They decide to not use a shield, so this threat is going to be gone. But we're going to have another Pokemon there that we're going to not really enjoy, which is going to be their own Stunfisk. So 2 people had the same idea here, kind of with a Pokemon that can break the current meta for this new meta basically, which is kind of wild. So yeah, the normal Stunfisk, something that is definitely worth playing. If you want a different team, maybe use my opponent's team here with the Dragonair. I forgot the other Pokemon, to be fair, already. But yeah, the Gligar Dragonair as well as the Stunfisk does make a lot of sense as well. Makes maybe even a little bit more sense even, but yeah, this team is definitely also solid. Here we can still try our best, but as you see here, Mud Bomb does way less damage than I thought I might be, I thought I would be able to put them into a 2-shot range, which is not the case, and so he's sadly going to lose this game, which is fine against another like normal Stunfisk, Unovan Stunfisk. I feel like it's kind of fair. But yeah, this could be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.